Hello guys, so today I'm going to show you a setup in Spring with Spring Security for Spring Boot applications, where you have users stored in the database, and users can log in with username and password, and then the application will return with the JWT token, and the user can use that JWT token to call certain APIs. So the users will have two roles, which admin and member, and everything will be done in our code. So there's no authorization server. So let me show you how the app works. So this is we have the API here. So we have admin. This is the endpoint of an admin, and we have the users, admin users, and the member user. So let me quickly log in to the application and copy. This is the role member. So let's try with JWT IO. So you can see here the roles. The JWT token has claim roles role member. So if I use this to call on the admin hello API, then sure enough you see that is a for3 forbidden response. But if I change this to the member API, then we'll get the response hello member back. And likewise, if I change the token to an admin login and go back to the API, then obviously still we can access this member API, but also the admin API is accessible. So we can do I will show you how to do everything in this video. This video is quite long because we will start from the scratch. If you don't want to wait, there is a link to the repository in the description. You can just check it out and see everything, which is much quicker. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing is to go to start spring.io, and let's see what we need. So the package security, Spring Security with JWT, something like that. I don't know, JWT. Okay, so I said that I use everything as default here, jar and Java 17. So the first thing we need to do is web, obviously, Spring Security on GPA, because our user will be stored in a Postgres database, Postgres driver. I will also use Lombok to save me some typing. And finally, that would be some dependency from JWT. Yeah, this is an external dependency which is not available here. So I will quickly generate this, and there it is. I have JWT here. Okay, so let's open this in Visual Code. Here's my download. JWT. Let me quickly change, sure, go ahead. Quickly change the font size. I have quite a small screen, it's only 13-inch, so I set the font to quite small. Hopefully this make it 18. Yeah, better. So, okay, let's try to run the application. Let's see. Oh, I think. Go to main Java. Yep. And try to run this. And obviously, we don't have the database set up. No worries. That is what we are going to do next. So we already set up the project with Spring Initializer. The next step is to set up a database. So I will open my terminal here and enter this command: PSQL Postgres. Okay, PSQL Postgres. And I set my role to the current user, which I'm using in all local application master, and create a new database. Create database. Let's call it JWT Security. Okay, and now we have a security JWT Security database ready to use. Go back to Visual Code and go to application.properties. I will copy the configuration from the source because this is quicker. So this is, we need to copy the database. Okay, and also DB master, this is correct, everything is correct. So let's save this file and try to run the application again. Click here and run. And you see that I have my application up and running. So let's go to localhost 8080. And this is the default configuration of Spring Security. Okay. What's next? We're going to, already done configuration in this file. Let's next set up security configuration. So let's create some packages. I'm going to create a config package. This is just my convention. So new folder would be config, where I will put all the security config here. So let's create a new security config. New file delete, close all, new file, security config.java, and that's it. And we're going to configure a filter chain. Okay, so once a request coming into our application, it will go through this chain. But first, enable web security set and use Lombard to inject the constructor dependencies to provide our constructor, and don't forget to make this as a bin, or you will see things works differently than you expect. Okay, that's it. Now let's configure the security filter chain. So actually we have, like I mentioned, we have two rows, admin and member. So let's create a bin, right? And public. Oh, let me disable Codium here, because it will work, it will get in the way. But when I code myself, I turn this on. It's very helpful. So public security filter chain, yep, and security filter chain, and it will take a HTTP security, right, HTTP, okay, and it will throws exception, okay, something like that. And HTTP, first thing, need to authorize HTTP request, and we have a customizer. So let's see, request, and this is a lambda. Why? Okay, this is a lambda. Let me see. I'm using Vim, so I find it help me quickly navigate through the lines of code. So in case you are interested, we can install the Vim extension for this. So we have the request matchers. So for admin and other subpath, then the user need to have row admin, obviously, and then let me see, this is, and the user or member need to have row admin, also accessible to the member, and need to the row member, okay. Has row, what did I do wrong? Has should be any row, something like that. And the other endpoints, we need to have some public endpoints. For example, the login URL would be public. Request matcher. So let's see, this is the home page, and API public. This is what I define. You can define a different path that is suitable for your application's need. So this is public, and then permit all. Any other request and a request need to be authenticated. Quite simple. So this is, let's see, oh why no. Okay, request, let me see. Oh, actually we don't need to have that. That looks not right. Okay, let me see, request, permit all. What did I do wrong? Any request, authenticated. Probably this is it, right? Okay, authenticated and requests, and then we have, what's wrong? Let's see. And then we need to configure CSRF, visible, abstract, HTTP, configurer, okay, visible, and also session management would be stateless because this is JWT application. We don't store state between requests. So session session creation policy would be session status. Okay, it seems we need some import or something. Stateless. Okay, and also logout, which I'm not going to cover in this video. Configure permit all. Yep. Okay, and return HTTP build. Oh, it seems on errors is gone. So that's it. We will go back to this after we configure the filter, the JWT filter, but that is later in the video. So what was next? So now we are going to set up JWT Util to generate and verify JWT. Let's create a new package, new folder, utils, and before that need to include some dependencies. So let me quickly copy the dependency JWT here. Okay, so yep, that's all we need for the JWT. Yes, and let's try to see what we have here, the JWT Util. So we have the util package here, JWT Util Java, and I'd like to have it as a component. Okay, so the Spring IOC container will manage an instance of this for us. So the code is available, and I'm going to copy it and explain to you. Actually, there isn't much in this class. So basically here I have expiration time 86,400,000, which is a day, and a secret key. This in the production code you should not, and may I say must not, store the secret like this. You should store it in an environment variable. But anyways, for the demonstration purpose, let's put it here. Before going further, I'm going to copy the dependencies and remove this to remove all errors. So the logic to create the token is here. So you see that it will create a token from the authentication instance. We get the name, we get the authorities, and like this. Okay, and then we set the claims, set the issue date, get the expiration, and also sign with the key. The next important function or method, that would be the verified validate token here. So this is the thing, when the user is authenticated, we generate the token for them, and this method we verify the validity of the token. That is all about the JWT Util. Now let's see what we're going to do next. We will need the user details service. What is user detail service? This is a service that will pull the details of the user from the data source. In our case, that is from the database, and it will compare the password, the validity of the login request to make sure that it is user to approve the authentication request from the user. So you can read user detail service. Yep, from the official documentation, which is very well written and I don't know what is the word, very sufficient. Okay, so I'm going to read it here for retrieving username and password, and it will compare the password to make sure that the user has provided the correct password. So go back to the security config. Before going further, we need to define a password encoder, because we don't want to store the password in plain text. So this is the bin password encoder. This is it, and the authentication manager, which we will use next when authenticating the user. Okay, so let's create new package called service to put the custom user detail service, new folder service. So sometimes you see people use plural, and here I use singular name service repository. I think it's more like a convention, but anyways, let's see. Let's copy. Okay, let me copy this. Let me create the class first. That means custom user details service Java. Okay, yep, that's correct. And this would implement the user detail service, and here let's import the user detail service here. So this user detail service has only one method, which is load by username, which we're going to implement. And let me copy the code here. Okay, so this is the implementation, which we haven't defined the user yet, and also the user repository, which we're going to do next. But the logic is use the user repository, which is a GPA repository, to find the user by username, and then return the user back with the role of the user and the username, also the password. So this password is encrypted, and the authentication manager will compare this password with the one the user submit in the login form. And next, let's go to create a model for the user. New folder, model. Let's see, user Java. And what is the user.java? It is something like this. Okay, and you see that it is an entity type name users. Make sure you have the plural here. You will see some strange problems because the user without plural, without s, is a keyword in Postgres, so you may have some issue like I did. So the user will have an ID, obviously, username, password, and the roles and attributes. So I plan to also have the attribute-based authorization control. So you may already hear about ABARC and RBARC. So ABARC is attribute-based, RBARC is role-based. So what we are going to do in this video is role-based. So let's see. Let me create the import here, and all the errors go away. So we have our entity ready. Let's create the repository. Okay, repository, new folder, repository. Okay, and the user repository, quite simple. New file, user repository, Java, and that would, oops, what did I? Extends and repository. Okay, would be user and long, something like that, and we need to import. So import. What is the model user? Wait. Okay, security. Sorry. Yep. Security. Oh, JWT. Okay, cool. And what is correct repository? This is here. And this method need to have a function return an optional of user find by username. So string username. Why? What's wrong? Find by username. Extend correct repository. Did I have some? Okay. Did I have some? Okay. No typo. Optional. Find by username. This method. Really? Oh, sorry. It's interface. Sorry, guys. Right. Okay, so go back to the custom user detail service. Since I already have everything except for user and user repository, so this would be a service, and also require art constructor, and I will inject the user repository. Okay, private final user repository. That's it. And we need to import the user, which is this one. And it seems we have the custom user detail service is ready. Okay, what's next? So already have this, already have the utils. Okay, finally, we did this before, no problem. So we set up the JWT filter. So what is a JWT filter? It is a filter in the filter chain that will validate the authenticity of the JWT in the header. So we will put it somewhere here. So after generating the token to the user, we need to validate that to make sure the the JWT included in the bearer header authorization is valid, so the one who makes the request can access the resource she wants. Okay, so let's create a filter. I would put it in a config here, but you can put it somewhere else, like a separate package for filter. But anyways, JWT Request Filter Java. Yep. And let's see. Oops, I copy it again. So we need two dependencies: utility service and JWT Util. So what does it do? It has only one method. This would extend the once per request filter. So this filter will be called on every request. Extends once per request filter, and also require arch constructor, and we need to import that IO exception quick fix. Yep. Oh, all errors gone. So let's see what does it do. The do filter internal will extract first the authorization header. Yep, you see that in Postman we see the authorization header here, authorization, and the bearer token here, and obviously this part is to extract the JWT. So what is 7? Because it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it starts from the index 7. Quite understandable. And after extracting the JWT, it will check if the username is not null. But this is the method from the util. So also use JWT Util to validate the token. If the token is valid, then it will create an authentication object and set it into the security context holder, then to signify that the user is authenticated. Okay, so where do we put this request filter? Obviously in the security filter chain. So let's go to the security config here, and here we add filter before. We want this to be invoked before the username and password filter, because the user will not submit a username and password when using JWT. So what is that? We're going to create a new. The reason I don't put a component here, because if I create I put a component here, then the Spring IRC container will possibly create an instance for me, and probably the logic would call twice, possibly. So let's create a new filter here, new JWT Request Filter, and what are the dependencies? Make sure we have private final user detail service, or custom user detail service. Actually, I can just use user detail service. So custom user detail service and JWT Util, right? JWT Util, new JWT Util, or we can just write final JWT Util because it's a bin. I suppose. Util. And before what, right? We want to add this filter before what, then username, password, authentication filter class. Yep, that's it. Let's see. Now we have everything ready. The security config is ready. Let's create some endpoints, some controller. So let's create a new package, new folder controller here. And let's see, let's create an admin controller. New file admin. New file admin controller.java, and nothing fancy, just a hello, right? And quick fix, we import, don't miss import, right? And next, that would be a member controller.java, right? And also this is just very basic controller, all missing, that's it. And finally, a public endpoint for the user to submit their username and password. That would be public API controller.java. And obviously I'm going to copy this from my source. Okay, and let me explain what now. Whoops, what is this? Public API controller. Did I type something wrong? Public? Nope. User service. Nice. There's another thing. This one I haven't created it yet, but that's what we're going to do next. So why this is complaining? Let me see. Oh, sorry. Copy this. Yep. Okay. No problem. We'll fix that next. But let me explain. This is the login endpoint. There's nothing special yet. It will use this method and respond the token. And the login response, which is here, just a token. We only issue the accept token here. We haven't issued the refresh token. That would be another video, if any. And also the login request would have a username and password. Quite simple. Now let's finally create the user service and see the logic of creating the JWT token. Okay, go back to service, create the user service, Java, annotated with service, and obviously let's copy the code. Yep. Okay, so let's quick fix. Okay, yes, this is the user core, sure. Okay, so first, this is service. Obviously this is authentication manager. Where do I get that? I already put it in security config here, right? In the kind of the beginning of the video, I create a bean here to get the authentication manager. So let's go back to the service user. Let's see, user service here, and the login and generate token. Nothing fancy, accept a login request and use the authentication manager to authenticate username and password. And if the username and password is not valid, then there is an exception thrown here. And if everything is okay, then we will create a token based on the authentication. So you already see the details of create token in JWT Util. If you need to review that, make sure to download the code, check out the code on GitHub to see this method in action. But yeah. And finally, we have some method to create user and check if user exists. Now it seems everything is almost ready. Let's import this, and I think we can now run the application. Where is it? JWT application, create and run, and let's hope. Okay. Oh, let's stop this and run it again. Oops, it's working. So let's try to connect to our database. So let's reload this, refresh. So we have JWT security here. Schema public should have the tables. So these are tables are automatically generated by Hibernate. So we have the user here, username and password, but we haven't got any user. So let's create a script to quickly insert 2 users with the 2 rows we have into the database. So let's go back to the code. Actually, it's util, and let's see. We have an init script. Actually, I can put it. Okay, put it here. So init script. So this is like a helper class. Okay. So quick fix. Add all missing import user. Course, and here we go. Okay, let's see, we also have require as constructor, so it will inject this thing for us. So there's an event listener here that all the application is ready. Let's check first, log this and check if the admin exists, then return, and if not, then create this to user. Well, obviously I can be more precise to check if the user member is available before creating that, but well, for this demonstration purpose, this is sufficient. So let's run the application again, and let's see. Okay, application is ready, which is the one, and obviously the user admin is not available in the database. Then Hibernate, we create, and this is the log from Hibernate. We create these 2 users and go back to the database. Let's see, refresh, and we have admin and user, and you see that the password is encrypted. Okay, so let's try with our Postman, right? So let's see, go to login, admin, and sure enough, this is the token, and go to here, row admin, and go back to Postman. Let's try to call, use this to call the, yep, we have hello admin, and let's try the endpoint member, hello member, and then let's try to generate a member token. Okay, so sure enough, this is row member. Go back here, paste the token here, run it. Hello member, try admin. Ooh, 403. Yeah, so that's it, guys. This is how you can set up Spring Security to secure your application. Now you can generate and validate your JWT token. So you can start from here to build a more sophisticated application. For example, adding refresh token, token eviction, invalidation, token invalidation, and some other things. So hopefully the video is helpful, and the code for this project is on GitHub. And finally, thank you very much for your time. I see you very soon. Bye bye.